Okay, so in honor of the Sea of Monsters movie that's coming out in early August, for those of you who live in the US, I don't know if it's coming out anywhere else. Might be interesting for you to look up if you care. So, because that movie is coming out, I wanted to talk about Percy Jackson and the Olympians. That series that those movies were supposed to be based off of, and they really aren't. I mean, they are, but they aren't. Because, screenwriters, directors, producers, anybody to do with it, when we say read the book if you're going to base a movie off of it, we mean read the book if you're going to base the movie off of it. Anyway, so Percy Jackson and the Olympians. And I'm talking about this because I can, and Percy. Who doesn't love Percy? He's awesome. So, I actually originally found the entire series when it had just ended, because the 5th book had just came out, and my sister had like all of them from the library, and I read them in a week, all of it. I was like so excited, and one of my friends actually really got annoyed because I ended up taking one of the books to the pool, and I just kind of sat under a shaded tree and I read, and she's just like, "We're at a pool, we should just have fun." But Percy. It's Percy. So, needless to say, this series is amazing, and if anybody thinks differently, you're doing it wrong. The first book, kind of, Percy is introduced, and he just finds out that, he's the son of Poseidon, and he is a demigod. And, he has his adventure, and he makes friends, and so on and so forth throughout the series until we reach the end of it, where he is victorious. Naturally, the series is about him. But the thing is that this series, what really made me love this series was the antagonist's story. I mean, Luke, really, to me, sure, he was angry and upset and, like, pissed at his dad, but I would be too if I had been left in that situation. I mean, his mother is, like, having these fits and basically scaring the crap out of him because, like, she's been this way since he was a baby. He doesn't know her in any other way. She's always just been this crazy woman that he's had to hide from when he was small. And, if the person who, is partially responsible for it and doesn't really show up, or he never sees him, of course he's gonna be angry and hurt. I mean, that's his mom, and Hermes was almost the reason she ended up that way. And honestly, maybe he wasn't so wrong to, like, blame Hermes, because, I mean, he could have flat out told May, no, don't do this. He could have just took them right home right then and there, but he didn't. He let her do it because she was so convinced, and then she ended up broken, and she had to raise Luke on her own when she's not fully sane. And so this little boy is growing up with this mom who scares the crap out of him, and a dad who doesn't show up and doesn't bother to help. So, yeah, He ran away. He blames the gods. He's angry at them, especially with what happened to Thalia later. I mean, his best friend died right before him and then got turned into a tree. Not saved, not even just let die completely. Turned into a tree, so he has to look at that for the next 5 years of his life. A constant reminder that, I mean, his best friend is gone. And, you know, he doesn't know how to cope, and nobody really kind of lets him. And it almost seems like his dad gives him this half-assed, thought-out quest, and he's just like, I don't want to repeat something else somebody has done. I don't care how difficult it is. I want my own story. So he goes out and he does it. Maybe it was the wrong person. Maybe he made some really bad life choices. And, you know, he did. He made bad choices. He did bad things. I'm not saying that that didn't happen. I'm not defending that. I'm just saying his life kind of sucked. And he did what he thought was right to fix it. And he realized before the end that it wasn't. It wasn't the right thing. He was just hurting. He was just upset. But he realized, and this is why I have mixed feelings about Annabeth. She's in love with him. You can tell it throughout the entire series. She is in love with him. Maybe she doesn't realize until the end that she was just projecting, or maybe she didn't realize that partway through her feelings changed, but she kind of messed with Percy's head. She did, and I mean, it isn't that hard to lie to a dying guy saying, yeah, I loved you. Really isn't, in my opinion, but you know, whatever. Now, as far as Annabeth goes, she used him. In the beginning, you can tell she's using him. And, I mean, she's been denied a quest. She can't leave until suddenly Percy's offered a quest, and she's like, I have to go. She doesn't even really give him a choice. She's just like, I'm going. To, you know, kind of get something that she wants. Which kind of upset me a bit at first, but then I kind of grew to like her a little bit more. She wasn't so bad in my eyes. She just kind of grew from this bratty little girl who always wanted her way to realize that real life isn't what I was led to believe. It sucks. You mess up a lot, and you're not always right. Which I enjoyed. There was character growth, which is why I love Rick. Rick is amazing when it comes to writing these characters, because, I mean, the growth in, like, one book alone is astounding. I mean, Percy in the beginning is confused and in shock, and he doesn't believe, and even if he does believe, he's still really angry and he doesn't really care. He's just doing things for his own gain, which, human nature. We're selfish. We do what we want. Now, is it exactly right? No, but he at least had better motives, in my opinion, than Annabeth did, so there's that. And, when Thalia was introduced, I was actually really excited. She's a really cool, won't take crap from anybody kind of girl. She will go out and hunt the monsters down and just basically be kick-ass for the entire time that she's there. That is why Thalia is amazing. So, and you know, maybe some people aren't agreeing with me with my assessments of these characters, but they're my opinions, and honestly, I think there's a little bit about every character that I absolutely love. Now, it doesn't necessarily it doesn't necessarily say that, I love the characters themselves, because Drew is horrible. She's a horrible person, and, that's just that. And Clarice, I mean, throughout most of the books, I did not like her one bit. But, I mean, towards the end of the fourth book and throughout most of the fifth book, I was kind of on the fence until at the end, and I'm like, dude, you go, girl, you're awesome. I mean, there's just so many amazing things about these books and these characters and their lives. It's just, there's so much going on, and, their lives suck. If I was one of them, I'd probably die within a week. Actually, I'm not even sure I would last a week. I mean, they're these tough, resilient people, and, they force themselves to move on from things that would drag people down and make them just kind of lay on the floor and give up on life. I mean, they pick themselves up and they keep moving on, even when horrible things happen. Even when they lose their best friends and their moms, and after it seems like they've lost everything that they had, they move on. They find a way to keep going, and sometimes they even get those people back. So it's just, they're so well written. It's like they're real people, which is what makes this series amazing, is because you wish these were real people that you could just sit down and just sit down and have a cup of coffee with and talk to them and just be like, dude, your life sucks, but man, you are awesome. I love this series, and it's Percy. How can you not love him? I mean, dude's got some issues, and, maybe by education standards, he's not that smart, but education isn't everything, and once a lot of the people realized that despite Percy's grades, he was actually really, really intelligent. He was really smart. He knew things about life. He knew how to get through things. So, it's just, I wish I could talk to this dude in real life and just be like, dude, be my best friend, because you are awesome, and I just want to wrap you up in a blanket and give you a bowl of soup and cuddle you and just tell you it's gonna be alright, because after all the crap you've been through, you only have two options, dude. Either everything's gonna be alright and awesome, and you're gonna marry the girl of your dreams and have 2.5 kids and a dog and a cat in a yard, or you're gonna die a horrible, bloody death. So, let's go for option A here. Because if option B happens, I'm probably gonna end up crying, throwing the book across the room, and just be a wreck. So, here's to hoping that House of Hades does not rip out our hearts like Mark of Athena did. Anyway, I just had to get my feelings out. I'm sure you guys understand. See ya.